G'day battlers, and today we're getting back into it for some more Sorcerous Cup battles up against DadCat 2012. Has been a little bit since we uploaded a video on the Sorcerous Cup battle type of thing, so I'll talk about that a little bit later on the video. For now, let's jump into the battles. So we had Skuntank in the lead up against Noctowl, which is not a good lead matchup for us, so we switched out into Azumarill trying to catch the Sky Attack, but unfortunately we were not able to do that. And they've switched into Azumarill as the counter switch, which is actually good for us because it means we kind of get to dictate how this battle goes. So we can burn equal shields and we're guaranteed to win this matchup out, or we can let our Azumarill go down and their Azumarill will be a little bit of energy to farm on with our Skuntank, get a little bit more energy onto the Skuntank, maybe try and flip that Noctowl matchup somehow, but yeah, I guess that's kind of the attitude. So it is also good for us because we get to throw our player-ups first. So they kind of make the shielding decisions and then we just have to match it or not match it. At this point we're getting really low on health, so we farmed up an extra bubble in case they let their Azumarill go down, so we'd have a little bit more energy going to the next one. But they do shield, so at this point we're kind of like, okay, we're actually going to be able to get bubble down here. That whole Azumarill mirror match sort of thing didn't quite work out for us, so we swap into Skuntank to throw this energy, knowing that it would threaten that Azumarill and all of the energy that it farmed up, which is definitely what we wanted, and they actually burned their second shield, which is really great for us. So they actually go for the Hydro Pump, which I was not expecting. Does take out our Skuntank. We're going to bring back an Azumarill to try and take down the Azumarill and get a player off onto whatever was in the back, but it turned out to be a simultaneous KO. So now we have Frostlass versus the world, hanging on to 2 shields, and we're going to take on this Noctowl. We burn 1 shield here, and they go for the Nightshade, which is actually the wrong move. Sky Attack is a much better move to go for when you're up against the Frostlass. You only want to go for Nightshade if Sky Attack is resisted and Nightshade is super effective. Now it glitches there and doesn't take one of our shields, but for the rest of the battle we're only going to use 1 shield anyway, so to keep it fair, I guess. Like, we're pretending that the shield did correctly activate, I guess. But in comes Toxicroak in the back, and because we already got a little bit of energy, we're actually able to get to this Shadow Ball, which will take out Toxicroak. And then we just have to get to an Avalanche on the Noctowl, and we'll be able to take it out because it's such a hard-hitting move from a hard-hitting Pokemon hitting a Pokemon that is weak to it. So we're able to burn our first/second shield on this Sky Attack from the Noctowl, and then throw the Avalanche, which will take out the Noctowl. So I'm not sure how close they were to the Sky Attack, but yeah, we're able to take it out. Didn't have to dip into our 3rd shield from courtesy of Niantic. But yeah, it just worked out that way. But yeah, going into game 2-0, we've got Munchlax up against Noctowl, which is another not great lead for us, just because Lick is going to be resisted by that normal typing on the Noctowl. So we're just going to be going straight body slams because we also can't really go for a Bulldoze. So it kind of neutralizes Munchlax a little bit because it's like, well, there's only one thing we could be doing because we're certainly not going to be hitting you with any hard hitting moves like a Bulldoze. We're just kind of slowly going to be chipping down, and Sky Attacks will be coming through. So eat 1 Sky Attack, farm up a little bit too much energy, and it's actually able to get a Sky Attack off before we get our Body Slam off, which we were kind of like, oh, I guess Munchlax is going down, but we actually hang on with a sliver of health, able to get this Body Slam off, which was just like, it was a good bonus. It was like that much health off of the Noctowl that we wouldn't have got off prior. So we actually decided to bring in Hypno, hoping to farm down the Noctowl. Probably going to get hit by a Sky Attack, which we are going to get hit by here, but then we'll be able to farm all the way down and then have a ton of energy to go into whatever the next matchup is. So, yeah, we'll have like a Thunder Punch and a half, basically. Yeah. So coming in is the Azumarill, so we're just going to be going straight Thunder Punches. We threw a Confusion and then a Thunder Punch just so we kind of like weren't wasting turns, making sure we didn't get that little lag thing where it's like, you know, you're tapping and nothing's happening. Now after we threw the Thunder Punch, we switched into Toxicroak, which maybe wasn't the best play, but I think in my mind I was kind of going, well, worst case they have Toxicroak. Even if they have Toxicroak, we're going to be able to apply a little bit of pressure from the Skuntank, not much, because Toxicroak is going to be able to tank anything. And then Hypno is going to be able to come back in and farm extra energy on the Toxicroak to have more Thunder Punch readiness to throw at the Azumarill. So in comes the Azu, and we have to burn 2 shields. We also have 2 shields, but it's going to be a bit difficult to burn 2 shields off of the Azumarill and then also land a Thunder Punch on top of that, which is what we're going to need to do to win out this matchup. So it's actually good for us that they're going for the player-offs, because they would also need to get to 3 charge moves for it to be worth it, and I think if they would be able to bubble us down before they can get to 3 player-offs, So every time they go for a charge move, it's kind of denying them the chance to go for a quick move. So because they've gone for 2 charge moves here, they would have been able to get 2 more bubbles off. And because we hang on with that bubble, we get to this Thunder Punch, and it is going to take out the Zoom Rule here, which is just like, holy dooly, that was tight. But I think they actually would have won if they didn't go for the charge moves. So, GG's, it was 1 HP and a dream. Such a close battle, but yeah, they definitely could have won that. The ball was kind of in their court. So we go in with a Frostlass lead up against this Hypno, which is a purified Hypno, which is interesting. I was like, is there some sort of spicy return going on here? We go straight for the Shadow Ball to try and take a shield off early, and then switched into Skuntank, hoping that we could tank the Shadow Ball. I really wasn't counting, and we've got ourselves in a not the best situation with Skuntank up against Toxicroak again. Obviously, when this matchup finishes up and Toxicroak will obviously sweep away our Skuntank, we're going to be able to bring in Hypno, farm down the rest of the Toxicroak easy. He did get this charge move off at the perfect time, so that we didn't get our crunch off, and we actually decided to shield so that we can get this crunch off, because we saw how much crunch did before, and crunch would basically take out Toxicroak at this point. So it was kind of like, oh, they have to burn a shield or we actually win with Skuntank. So that's kind of an interesting spot to be in. I don't think I've ever been in that spot before, but there we are. So maybe we'll get into that a little bit more later in the month. But bring back in Frostlass, get able to burn a shield, and then farm all the way down that Toxicroak. That was a very aggressive farm. I really wasn't sure if it's going to work, but it was kind of, in my head, it was the only thing that could work because that Hypno already had energy. So I had to get a charge move off as soon as it came in. So we had to farm up the energy, got the Shadow Ball off, and because we had a little bit of residual energy, we weren't sure if we quite had enough, and we were also in Avalanche KO range, I think. So we sack swapped into the Azumarill because it's going to be able to tank a Shadow Ball or an Avalanche, which we probably could have just switched into Azumarill straight away. I don't think I was quite in the right state of mind, I suppose, because Azumarill is going to be able to come in and will take out Frostlass no matter what. Like, yeah, I definitely could have switched straight into it Azumarill and cleaned up with a play rough. So, I guess that's just how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you're focused on one strategy and you don't really think about the fact that there's an easy winning strategy somewhere else. So thanks a lot for the battles, DadCat 2012. And actually my next battles are going to be up against Flabber Wabski, who also has a YouTube channel, which I'll link in the description below if you want to check that out. They do kind of look at metas, they've got tournament recaps, but they don't do voice, they've just got some nice music, chill out, watch. But anyway, we get a really good lead matchup here with Toxicroak up against Munchlax. And so we're kind of expecting to switch out, and they do switch out in Hypno. And we switch into Azumarill, which maybe a debatable switch in, just because Azumarill is probably going to lose this matchup, especially when Hypno has that very slight energy advantage, assuming that he's got Thunder Punch, and shielding up the player up there. Actually, was that a player for a Hydro Pump? I think I missed it. I think I just assumed it was a player up, but Hydro Pump is the more effective move, but obviously player up is the better bait move. So I think we're actually going to let Azumarill go down at this point, because we didn't really want to provide Hypno with the opportunity to farm us down, and Frostlass had a better chance of landing a charge move that could do a chunk of damage anyway. So have to shield up another charge move here, because I again wasn't really keeping track of the Hypno's energy. It is the Shadow Ball, so definitely could have been bad. Switch into the Toxicroak as the Munchlax comes in, so definitely lucky that I guess I say it's lucky that it's not like a charge move would have done much to Hypno anyway. But we were hoping that Toxicroak is going to be able to clean up this Munchlax, go for the Mud Bomb before another Body Slam comes through, before we get threatened for a shield. Doesn't quite take out the Munchlax, but 2 more counters, and we do actually take it out before a Body Slam comes through. So I guess they would have been close to a Body Slam, if not on the Body Slam at that point. But throw the Mud Bomb straight away just to chip down that Hypno a little bit more. Bring in the Frostlass, definitely going to be able to take it out with an Avalanche, so forcing the shield on Hypno unless they've got a 500 Shadow Ball or something they wanted to keep. They bring in Azumarill in the back, and so at this point we're like, okay, that's that's kind of game loss at this point. Not much that Frostlass can do when that Azumarill is still holding onto a shield. Even if I had 1 shield to their 0, at this point they're in a pretty good spot, because we have to land 2 Shadow Balls and burn that shield off. So yeah, it's a GG at this point. We're hoping that they, for some reason, were like, oh, this is probably just an Avalanche bait, because they need to get that shield off us, so I won't shield. But there was no way we could have been able to get to both, I think. Should have a play rough, and actually I'm completely mistaken. If I actually went for the Avalanche bait in that last move, I would have been able to get to that Shadow Ball, and I think, if I'm remembering 5 seconds ago right, I think that actually would have taken it out, so I don't think that was my bad. Oopsie doops. Always go for the win condition, folks, but I guess I was trying to hope for a no shield, but maybe it would have been smarter to go for the Avalanche and hope. But we've brought in Munchlax into the mirror match, with the other Munchlax having the energy advantage, so It's probably not going to turn out well for our Munchlax, I don't think, but we'll kind of see how it plays out. Actually, Munchlax alone, by using Munchlax in battles, these videos actually get longer just because it kind of adds that bulk and constant body slams, constant charge move sort of thing. So anyway, by the way, if you're still watching, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Throwing that in at like the 10-minute mark-ish of the video also, as well as at the end. Yeah, it has actually been a while since we did a Sorcerous Cup Battles video, kind of classic. It's been like a week actually. That wasn't on purpose, it was just kind of happened. We did do the recap of the tournament, and then we also did another live stream in the middle, as well as a look into B-Drill with Drill Run in the Sorcerous Cup. So actually this video is going to be uploaded in the morning of my community day, your community day will also be soon, so maybe if you also want to check out that B-Drill Run video in the Sorcerous Cup, if you've still got a Sorcerous Cup to go, that might be worth a watch. Maybe it'll link up there. It would have probably already showed up, but you can actually click the card in the top right and pick it anyway. But anyway, back to the Munchlaxes. Munchlax was able to take us out, and they do have a shield on us, so we bring in Skuntank and are able to farm all the way down, but working at a shield disadvantage, this is definitely going to be a little bit rough. So in comes Azumarill actually, which I thought was an interesting swap in. They must have something else in the back that is weak to the Skuntank. Actually, they led with it, didn't they? Or did they lead with the Azumarill? I'm completely forgetting. I talked too long about something that was not the battle, but we actually get this Sludge Bomb off also, which is going to chunk a whole lot of damage off of that Hypno. Never mind, in comes the Hypno, but we should be able to get to a crunch before another charge move comes from the Hypno, which we are able to get. Looked like that was a CMP tie actually. But we get this crunch off. Gonna take out the Hypno, and then we switch into Frostlass to tank the charge move from the Azumarill. We're lucky enough that we actually get this Shadow Ball off though, which is definitely that's just cherry on top basically, because we were expecting to come in, tank a player up straight away, and then yeah, we would have to clean up with the Skuntank, but that kind of worked out even better for us. Hydro Pump is going to take us out, but Skuntank should be able to Poison Jab down. Yeah, able to Poison Jab down, so that is GG's there. So yeah, it was interesting actually. I don't think I expected it to play out that way, but it did. And that is sometimes how the game rolls. We've got Hypno in the mirror match here, and we are not in a good spot here because we have Thunder Punch, Fire Punch, and we've seen that he's got Shadow Ball in his Hypno, unless I'm thinking of Dadcat 2012. They actually switch out into Munchlax, presumably trying to catch the Shadow Ball, but little did they know we were not packing the Shadow Ball. Now, Skuntank vs Munchlax is actually a really tight matchup, and because he had the energy advantage, he's probably in a good spot to take this out. We maybe should have gone for a charge move on the Hypno first and then brought in Skuntank. We shielded up the charge move thinking it was going to be a Bulldoze, but it was not. A little bit of lag here, but I don't think it was anything game-changing. And then here comes a Bulldoze. So goodbye Skuntank basically. We do actually really luckily get this crunch off just before we go down, so going to weaken down that Munchlax a little bit more, which is definitely nice, especially when we do not have Toxicroak on the squad. Bring in Hypno, hoping to get a little bit of energy, taking it down. It does get a charge move off, but it's all good because it is Hypno. Hypno is going to be able to tank it no matter what. And in comes an Azumarill, so Thunder Punch away. We're a little bit worried at this point because we do have Frostlass in the back, and Frostlass obviously not a friend of Azumarill, so we are lucky enough to get 2 Thunder Punches off, so we're kind of starting to put a little bit of pressure, a little bit of damage onto that Azumarill, and it's kind of to the point where a Shadow Ball would actually KO. They switch out catching this Thunder Punch, which is actually a really great move on their part, fantastic switch, and hits a Hypno, so we switch into our Frostlass. I think we're hoping that they go for the Shadow Ball. We get it. They kind of aggressively farmed there, hoping they could beat us to getting it to a charge move, because we had a little bit of energy there. I think we were hoping to get to that Avalanche, threaten the shield off of that Hypno, burn a shield here, and it is the Shadow Ball. They're not going to be able to get back-to-back Shadow Balls, but they're going to be pretty close to another one. I think this is probably another Shadow Ball. Yeah, there's another Shadow Ball. Takes out the Frostlass, and so in comes our weak little Hypno, and yeah, at this point it's GG. So thank you both Dadcat 2012 and Flabberwabski for the battles. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, especially that subscribe one. And yeah, actually it'll be, if not today, it'll be in the next few days when Sylph announces the next meta, assuming it hasn't already been announced like before this video is up. But yeah, the next Sylph meta will be announced pretty soon, so expect another meta simplified guide from the old PvP Steve, so definitely subscribe for that if you have not already, because that will definitely I mean, we try to get that thing out as early as we can, basically dive straight into PvP Poke and the like as soon as the meta's dropped, and get into paint. So with that said, thank you to my patrons who keep this thing going. Militum9458, brajSF, -10, NotRandyN3wman and Yahwertle for supporting the channel because they're super cool dudes. And yeah, with that said, I think we're gonna stop the video now. So see you in the next video. It'll be less time before another battle video, probably, maybe. We will just have to wait and see. Bye.